I'm Savannah and today I'm going to show you how I like to make my chocolate brownies. So here I have 140 grams of butter, that's room temperature. I have 200 grams of chocolate that I've melted in the microwave. Now, if you wouldn't eat this chocolate by itself, I don't recommend putting it in cooking. So put in just whatever chocolate you like to eat normally. I have 1 cup of white or caster sugar. I have 3/4 cup of plain or all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of pure cocoa, and I just have some vanilla. So, first of all, we need to cream our butter and sugar. Now, if you've got a stand mixer, that's the easiest way to do it. You could do it with an electric hand mixer, but you can really just do it by hand. So, we need to first mix the butter until it's quite creamy. You'll notice that it lightens in colour. So make sure there are no lumps. Now I'm going to use my whisk. Once it's quite smooth and creamy and lightened in colour a little bit, we're going to add in our sugar. Time to add our white sugar. You should mix this until it's lump-free. It should be smooth and quite creamy, and it will lighten in colour substantially. So that's looking quite light in colour and it's a lot smoother. I completely forgot before, we need 2 large eggs. So now that we've creamed the sugar and butter together, we just add our eggs in, making sure not to get any shell in. One little handy tip, if you do get a bit of shell in the eggs, that's fine. If you wet your finger with a little bit of water and put your finger in, the eggshell will stick right to your finger. So that's a lot easier than kind of trying to fish it out. So along with our eggs, we are putting our vanilla in. It's really up to you. I mean, you don't need it because it's a chocolate brownie. I quite like the flavour it gives. So I usually like a lot, but as I said, it's chocolate, so you don't need a whole lot, just a little bit to taste. This is looking nice and fluffy. It's quite thick and it's making ribbons just when I lift this. One more thing you can do, which is quite nice, is you can add, if you've got like espresso powder, you can add that in with a little bit of water. That gives it nice, kind of gives it a more depth to it. You don't really taste the coffee much, but it just kind of makes it a bit deeper. Now, I'm just kind of mixing around my dry ingredients here, and I'm just going to dump them straight in. And I'm going to mix until well combined. You could fold this in with your spatula if you wanted, but you can also sift these if you want. I'm not too fussy. I like to get it done quickly, so if it's not required, I won't do it. I've mixed everything really well. It's quite thick, kind of the consistency of like a really heavy whipped cream. So it's quite light in colour, don't worry. We're adding our chocolate in now. This is really where all the chocolatey flavour comes from. I like this because adding chocolate in rather than a bit more cocoa powder makes it more, it's kind of like somewhere between a cake and fudge. So it's really kind of gooey on the inside but cakey on the outside, which is good. So really, really good. So I'm just going to fold this in with my spatula. It's not going to take very long. It doesn't need a whisk. You could still, again, use your hand mixer, stand mixer, whisk. Doesn't really matter. You could use a spoon, a fork. It's not rocket science. Just whatever you've got, whatever you want. Okay, so this has been mixed really well. Everything is mixed together, no lumps at all. It's really quite thick, this batter, I think. It's not like a cake mixture, it's not really runny. So I have got my little brownie tin. That's pretty much all I use this one for. I have just used some baking oil, spray oil, and I've got some baking paper and I've just lined it. Now it makes it really easy to lift out if you've got these little sides when it's cooked. So we're just scooping it all in. Okay, so now we need to spread this out to the edges really well. Just kind of pat it down. We want to make sure it's quite even, otherwise you're going to kind of get one part of your brownie that's really thick and it's a bit softer or gooier than the rest. So get it as even as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect. Right out to the edges. Smooth it down. Okay, now this is going into the oven for somewhere between 40 and 45 minutes. Now, because these are quite fudgy and chewy, if you put a toothpick into the center, it should come out with kind of moist crumbs, not any batter. It should really be crumbs. So, in it goes. And I will see you when it's done. Okay, so I've taken these out and I let them cool until they pretty much cool completely on a wire rack. Now, as you can see, they're really quite crunchy on the outside, but they're really moist on the inside. So, let me try some. They're good. They're crunchy on the outside, but they're almost a little bit chewy on the inside. Leave any comments down below of any recipes that you want me to try out. If you have a different way you do your brownies, I'd love to know so I can try them myself. And I'll see you next time.